Hey guys, what's up? So I just wanted to do a quick disclaimer before I start this video. So if you're looking for a step-by-step tutorial or process-by-process video of how to install this kit, that's not going to be in this video. When me and my dad were installing this, it was mostly just me and him working through the parts and pieces, trying to figure things out, looking things up online, just trying to figure out where everything goes. So I didn't really record too much of the process, but I do go over a couple of the things we ran into, a couple of the issues. So this video is more of just like quick updates of what we did and over the couple of days that we did the install. But I still think there are plenty of things in this video that I do mention and that could be helpful. So I don't think it would hurt if you take a look at this video and maybe you'll find out something that you're running into and maybe we answer that question. But I am planning to do another video where I basically just go over my engine bay and explain where all the lines and oil feeds and everything and how all that works and where all that goes. So that video will probably be a better video if you're looking for a step-by-step process. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's start it. Alright guys, so welcome to day one of the turbo install for my BRZ. One of the first steps for installing the turbo kit is we're going to have to change the original oil pan of the car. But my dad actually already did this part of the install without me while I was at work. So he had some footage of doing that install, so I'll show you guys that footage right now. Okay guys, so what my dad did here is he found the stock oil pan and he removed the headers on the car just so he had more room to work down there. He began first by removing the bolts on the stock oil pan, and then he began prying off the oil pan from the car. After getting the oil pan off the car, he just cleaned up any silicone that was on part of the car where it was attached to, just to make sure everything was clean. Then he got the new oil pan that was given to us by JDL, added new silicone to it, and then attached it back to where the original stock pan was. After attaching it, he just did the bolts in, and then just make sure guys not to put oil in the car right away. At least give it 24 hours for the silicone and everything to set and sit. So that was the footage for that install. And the next step we're going to do is we're going to install the new turbo manifold. So we're going to be installing the turbo manifold for this car, which is basically like the headers. So it's going to go exactly where the headers would go. The next day, and we got a couple of things done yesterday when installing this turbo, so I'll come and show you guys that. We ran into a couple issues. The bolts that we were given didn't really fit that well, so we ended up reusing like some of the stock bolts. For instance, where it mounts onto the overpipe, the bolts they gave us were just a little bit too long, so it just didn't clear properly, so we just used the stock bolt. Like most of the issues we ran into were clearance issues. And when I got this turbo, I didn't realize how close the turbo is to the stock fans. Let me show you guys what I mean. So if you guys look at this, this is the stock fans, and like there is almost no clearance here. Like the turbo is basically on it, but there's just a little bit of a gap if you guys see it. There's just a tiny little gap on it. So the clearance here is really small. I'm probably gonna have to buy new fans for this later on because this clearance is really bad, and this is going to get really hot and it probably will melt this, so I'll have to look into that later. But other than that, we were able to mount all this, plugged in all the O2 sensors, wastegate mounted in. Another thing we had to do was this cable right here that's attached to these fans, it was hitting this part of the exhaust manifold. So what we did is we had to get some zip ties and tie it to the bottom frame here so it wouldn't be hitting this. So most of the issues we ran into were just clearance issues. So for today, we're probably going to start mounting all the lines that go into the intercooler and mounting all those lines, and maybe start routing the oil lines and coolant lines that go into the turbo. So I'll show you how far we get. Hey guys, welcome to day 3 of the turbo install. Yesterday, we didn't get too much done that we wanted to get done. We got a good bit done, but we definitely didn't get as much done as we wanted to. What we were having trouble with was intercooler piping. We were just having trouble figuring out how to place all that. There's not really too many pictures on the internet about the compact intercooler, the one I got, the no cut option. I found maybe one picture on it, and none of the pictures really of it on the car. They're just a picture of like what it's supposed to look like in general. We didn't really have much of a guide to go by, so we were able to do some of the piping and the lines for the water coolant for the turbo. So I'll show you how we did that also. If you guys have the compact intercooler kit like the one I have, you're gonna get this really weird like S-shaped pipe, I would say. And that's the pipe that's gonna go on the driver's side of the intercooler. And for this pipe, you just have to make sure it's like really, you can see there's not a lot of space, but just make sure it's not touching the radiator or anything. And yeah, we just messed with it a little bit, made sure it wasn't touching the intercooler, and right now it's not moving by much. We just need to tighten these. We haven't tightened all these yet. And yeah, after that it really doesn't move too much. And then you'll have one more pipe here, and this one's gonna go up here and through here, and then it's just gonna come out here. The only difficulties we had with this pipe is this part right here was blocking it, so we had to take this piece off so we could get the pipe on, and after we put the pipe on, we put this piece back on the car. And then also the headlights were kind of in the way. So we disconnected the headlights right now. The wiring for the headlights were just kind of bumping into it, and we didn't want to mess up that wiring or anything, so we disconnected it, and we're going to reconnect it later. It's really the only trouble it gave us because it's just a tight fit, especially when you're trying to mount this. So when you're trying to like put this back on here, because we already have the bash bar on, so you have to like put it on while the bash bar is on, and you really don't have a lot of space to work with. So right here is our return line for the turbo, and then our feed line for the turbo is right here. And what we did is we actually have it going around. I'll move this paper so you guys can see, but it's going around right here, and it goes around the oil filter, and it's going to come back around here, and we're going to mount the, I think the return line goes here and the feed line goes here, so that's how we're going to mount it. So it's we kind of have it set up so it's nice and discreet, so it's not really like coming out of here onto here. So we just have it nice, and right here it's not really like pinched or anything. It's like there's a good amount of space, so we just have it set up so it's nice and discreet, and it's not just all over the car somewhere. Almost done. We just need to add the oil line, put in the rest of the intercooler pieces, and then do the PCV pipes, and then we'll probably be good. So yeah, that's a quick update of what we did yesterday. Again, we didn't get too much done, or not as much as we wanted to, because we spent most of the day messing around with the intercooler piping and figuring all that out. So it just there's a lot of excess time that we wasted if we had known in the first place. The water lines were super easy. That didn't take any time at all. But yeah, we're gonna see how far we get today, and I'll give you guys an update. I'm not really sure where I left off last. I think we were in day 3 or 4 of the install. It's a little bit way past those days, but I'm just gonna give you guys a quick overview of what ended up happening those days. You guys already knew the issue with the stock fans being really close to their turbo, and me and my dad just decided that in the long run we're probably gonna have to change out those fans anyway, just because of how close they are. And if the turbo gets too hot, it will probably start melting that plastic. So what we decided to do is we just decided to 2-day ship some Mishimoto slim fans that are plug and play for the BRZ. And while we were waiting for those to come in, we started working on all the lines for the turbo. So the oil feed line, water cooling system for the turbo, all the lines from the blow-off valve, from the wastegate, just figuring all that out, figuring out where to route it. But we installed my oil catch can, we did all that. The Mishimoto fans came in. It came in Friday, so the day before we were supposed to go get it tuned. So those finally came in. We took out the stock fans. That was a little bit of a struggle because, again, it was a really tight fit, and then we didn't really want to have to take off the turbo again and do all that. We were able to get that out, and we put in the new Mishimoto fans. The clearance it's better. I wish it would be more, but it's still pretty close. But there's a good like couple centimeters, maybe an inch now of clearance, while before it was like absolutely no clearance. We already knew where all the routing was. We already had most of the routing set up. We just put all the charge piping in, finished clocking the turbo, set up all the lines, put everything on the car, and then we went inside the car. We set up my gauges, did the wiring for all those gauges. So we basically just had to get everything done because this was the Friday before. So one day before I was getting it tuned, so we had to get everything done. Our plan was, turn the car on, check for everything, make sure everything's running good, and then the next day we're gonna drive the car over there, just limp it over there, drive it really slow, and just get it there safe and sound. We turned on the car, and then we got to check engine light. I was already kind of expecting to check engine light because we had to take off the secondary O2 sensor for my AFR gauge, but we also had a traction control light on, and we weren't really sure why that was on. But in the end, we figured out the next day that sometimes when the check engine light comes on, the traction control light comes on also. What we didn't realize is our light didn't come on, our check engine light didn't come on because of the O2 sensor. It came on because of a different issue. And if you guys want to know why my check engine light came on, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to watch the video where my car gets tuned. I can't give everything away. It's actually a really strange issue that none of us really expected. And if you guys are doing this yourself, you probably won't run into this issue. It wasn't really anyone's fault. You guys will see what I'm talking about if you watch that video. Just want to let you guys know, if you do get a check engine light or anything with the traction control light on, that's probably normal. I think in these cars it comes on, they both come on. When the check engine light comes on, the traction control light comes on also. So that's nothing to worry about. Yeah, we ended up finishing it on time, and then the next day we went and got it tuned. Again, like I said earlier in the video, I'm planning to do another video where it's just a complete walk around of the kit, where all the piping and cables and everything goes, and just a good overview, so if anyone else is having trouble or needs something to look at, they can follow that video, and hopefully that will help them see where everything's supposed to go. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, so see you guys next time.